jokes, and the rest of us would like to hear their jokes. We ask you not to heckle them, but guess what? A week from tonight, you heckle as much as you want to. That's going to be a really fun show. Comedians really enjoy that. Get that audience participation stuff going. So if a comedian says something, you just shout out whatever the hell you want to. They're going to really appreciate that. 2 weeks from tonight will be our only non-open mic comedy show. So we'll be doing karaoke. We will be doing our 50 Shades of Comedy show. Doug and I will be doing the entire show. We also have our book for sale tonight and that night called The Reluctant Husband's Guide to Becoming Christian Grey. A lot of good humor in here, but also a lot of factual stuff, telling you how to put a little bit of a spice in your love life. So, now if you guys can handle that fucking drum song or something like that Xander did, you could probably handle tonight's show. This is for mature audiences only. If you're easily offended, you're probably going to need to wear some earplugs during the next portion of our show. So you guys, I recently started a new job, and I'm not sleeping really well. I have really bad insomnia. So it's been so bad that I finally took a nap right after I got off work, and my husband had to wake me up to come to the show. And I had actually fallen asleep, and I had the craziest dream. I dreamt I was a Mexican. I know, right? It was a dream, you know, they don't have to be politically correct or anything. And I got to thinking that would be pretty cool to be a Mexican, because I'd save a lot of money on tanning beds. So that would be really a plus. I could eat whatever I wanted to, and everything in my stomach would be fine with that. So that no more, you know, that irritable bowel syndrome stuff, I would be good for eating Imodium or anything like that. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. And then I got to thinking, if I was a Mexican, I could actually pronounce jalapeno correctly. That would be something, right? That'd be good, don't you think? And then I thought I could join that Pueblo social group, the Serenos. Okay, I can't pronounce that correctly, but I don't roll my R's. Yeah, I'm working on that. I heard they have killer parties, so I think that might be worth pursuing. And then I thought, you know, if I was Mexican, I'd finally be able to swim. It was a dream. It was a dream. My God, people, get a sense of humor. Oh my God. Sheesh. And then I thought I could finally speak Spanish. Okay, not with any grammatical accuracy, but I'd be able to speak it, so that would be kind of cool. But then I got to think there'd be some drawbacks of being Mexican. Like, I would not be able to ride the roller coaster at the city park, because there's like a height requirement. I know, right? But the good news is I could play in a bouncy house. So I'm thinking all in all, it was a good dream. I had a really great time, and I'm looking forward to it. So our host is filling in for us at the last minute because our other host was not able to make it tonight. This guy is a Pueblo comedian by way of New York. I was asking a gal where she's from, and she said, I'm from Louisiana by way of Houston. Well, he's from Pueblo by way of New York, so I guess that's how these things work. So everybody, let's give a big round of applause for your host tonight, Steven Zane.
I must be nervous. I just knocked over a drink and my camera on the way to the stage. No, the water's on the bar. It's okay. First is the public announcement. In the event of an emergency, you'll be told how to kiss your ass goodbye. This is not an emergency, so you don't need to know. In case you did, we'd show you. Santa Claus couldn't make it tonight. I did get a message from him. One of his reindeers doing meth again. It's sad. Really bad in this town. I've never seen so much shit until I came here. And I lived in New York. I don't mean like, you know, white New York. I mean like New York. Like I was an educator. My first job was in Harlem, in Bed-Stuy, the Bronx, South Bronx, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I get out of my car. I hear this every morning. White man, you got $1? I walk over to the guy and show him the $2 in my wallet, because I was married at the time with children. Like George Jensen, I had $2 in my wallet all the time. I said, I bet you have more money in your pocket than you do, and they did. And I'll see you tomorrow. They go back looking through the garbage, and I go to the school I worked at. You know? These are true stories. I'm not making this up. It is said about the meth problem. I mean, I was at a house, it wasn't my house. I saw things there I can't even talk about. Well, I just don't want to bore you. Anyway, so I have a 2-year-old, or about to be 2-year-old son. I also have a 25-year-old daughter, not the same mother. I apparently have another child, but the little 2-year-old, we get on video chat, and it's really cute because he goes, Papa! He's not French. I'm not French, so I don't get it, but it's cute. And then he talks to me in Donald Duck voice. So there's no doubt he's my child. We don't need a DNA test. And he gives me the biggest smile you could ever imagine. It's amazing. You know? Oh, right. I'm old. I'm 52. So having a 2-year-old, I realize, like when he starts driving, I don't know if Social Security money can pay for a new car. But we'll work that out. But I plan on staying here a long time, although my daughter has premonition dreams and won't tell me the bad dream she had. I'm sure it has something to do with tonight because I can just feel the pheromones in the air. I mean, there's like, across the street there's some party in a bus that went to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and I think Mexico. I was going to go over there, but I didn't want to wake up married to someone in Mexico like with a hangover. I really want to know where that bus goes, just once. I know just enough Spanish to get myself in trouble. My first and still only wife's Puerto Rican. And the woman I had my son was Mexican and Haitian. The girlfriend I had here was a mix of everything. But I told her we have to break up because I want to go be with my son and maybe work things out with the mom. And she said, work it out with your wife. I'm trying to divorce the wife for the 3rd time. Maybe that's the charm. Oh, am I just hosting or am I doing like an hour and a half here? We have a really great show here tonight. Santa could make it. Stephen Sane, that's me, right? I didn't choose that name, just to make that clear. It was given, but you'll have to stay to hear the story. The short version, my dad went by the name Lee Sane, worked in the Catskill Mountains, New York, and I was 3 and did I'm a Little Teapot. That was my first performance. And I just do my version. I'm a little pothead, short and stout. Here's my bomb, here's my spout. Hear me shout, I'm hungry. I'm not sure what happened here. We have 2 names that have been crossed off, yes. We do have Xander Alexander, who will be headlining on July 27th. He'll be bringing you some insanity of his own in just a minute. I forgot what else I wanted to say. So Xander, come up here before I just like drop this mic and pass out because I have to get some high in the room. What are you applauding for? I'm just the host.
Hi guys. How are you guys doing tonight? You guys are cute. Will you buy me a drink? Oh my god. That's a callback to an actual situation, which I will tell you the story about right now. But first, how am I doing on time? Alright, they say like I better hurry up. So I'm gonna just hit it up real quick with a couple of one-liners. Anyway, no, I'll tell you about that story. It's cool, chill guys, relax. Don't jump down my case just yet. So I was at the bar, and there was this really cute girl at the end of the bar, and I went up to talk to her, and I was like, you're cute, what are you drinking? And she goes, 7 and 7. And I said, oh, that sounds good, will you get me one? And she was like, who the fuck is this guy? I got guys in line getting in line to buy me shots or whatever, and I was like, whatever. And she was like, the bartender comes up and she's like, who the fuck is this asshole? And the bartender looks at me and puts a fucking shot glass, like a scotch glass down on the table, and he goes, that's fucking Xander. That dude's fucking awesome. And then pours me a shot. And then I took my shot and I looked at her and I was like, It was great. It's so rare that like life presents you with moments like that, you know, where you get to say fuck you to people without actually saying fuck you. And I love those moments, but I have no problem saying fuck you out loud either. That's fun. It's like a family activity. It's fun for everybody of all ages. You guys should try. I was at Studio A64 doing an open mic, but I wasn't doing comedy that night. I was doing music. Because this is kind of like my side hobby, comedy, and I was doing music that night. I did like a Marilyn Manson song, And it was one of the ones that says "fuck you" a lot, you know, in it. And so I'm a little bit nervous about how it's gonna go over, you know. So I've got my eye on the back, and I see the owner in the back, and he's standing there, and I see a big old grin on his face from like cheek to cheek. So I was like, "All right, you're cool." It was fucking fun. I gave that performance my all. But that was fun. It was really cool. We went up back to Studio A64 and did some comedy the other night. And it was really cool to be able to go back there like 4 years later after having all these crazy adventures through all the US. And like to be able to put the same camera I had 5 years ago, because I'm that broke, on the same spot, on the same countertop. And then it was like, I don't know, it was just a total mind fuck. It blew my mind. And I was up there and they said, all right, like we're running low on time and like you've only got 2 minutes. And I said, well, I have a 10-minute set, but if I could finish it in time, at least all the girls in the audience will laugh. And they did. It was great. I love those one-liners that are really painful for the audience, because when I hear the audience groan, it gets me off a little bit inside. So just to be clear, those really bad jokes that I tell, those aren't for you guys, those are for me. I like those, but, you know, like, sometimes when I get a really good groan from the audience, I feel like I've just made a woman come. Like, oh my God. I looked up clitoris on Google Maps one time. Kid didn't know either. Check this out, just for the cameras, I'm gonna do the alternate ending to that joke. I looked up clitoris on Google Maps, and I felt like a god for knowing something that Google didn't. No, I love Google. You can look up anything, and it solves arguments so fast. But it also, like, sometimes it gets me $1 or $2, but mostly it just loses $1 or $2. But it's cool living in Pueblo because I didn't even know till yesterday that you can be as broke to have only $1 and still get used by girls for your money. It's like, let's go fucking get a 6-pack. I got 14 cents on it. I'm like, this bitch is stealing my lines. That's my line. How does she know that? I could tell by your eyebrows that the anticipation is building. I'm gonna let it go for another second. And go. So for my next joke, actually I just recently discovered that I have a little bit of psychic power. And it doesn't work all the time, but if you guys will allow me, I'll do a demonstration tonight. Yeah? This guy's down. We got one, that's good enough for me. Fuck the rest of you guys. Alright, I'm just kidding, I love you guys. But for this next trick, I'm gonna need complete silence from the audience. So everyone shut the fuck up, I'm talking to your girlfriends right now, dude, don't be rude. Okay, so I'm gonna ask someone from the audience, I need a volunteer, preferably a female. You? Okay. Think of a number, you can sit, it's me. You can come up if you want to, come on up. Okay. She's gonna stay there, everybody. Think of a number between 1 and 100, but don't tell me what it is. Picture it, focus on it. Is it black guys? Oh man, if I got shot after the show for a joke like that, it would so be worth it. That's how I want to go out. It would be like, I'd be like the Dimebag Darrell of comedy. Oh yeah, don't wait till after the show. Do it. I know. Okay, cool, I'm cool. Just checking. You never know, you know. So you guys want to hear a story about my travels?
Yeah.
Which one? Like the travel where I went to Seattle and our van caught fire when I was traveling with the goat and the dogs, or when I went to California and met the transvestites and partied at the casino with them? Or Chicago? The rape whistle joke? I piqued someone's curiosity, I'll go with that one. Ding, we have a winner. Okay, so I was in Chicago, right? And everyone told me, like, oh, it's really dangerous down there, be careful. And I was on Archer Avenue, like the place where they told me that you could get drugs. And I was down there, and the people were really fucking nice. Like, I told this guy was walking by, and I was like, I like your shoes. And he was like, take them, just don't hurt me. And wow, people in Chicago were really nice. And I went to like the more upper ritzy district, because I couldn't find any drugs. And we can edit that part out, right? Is your camera running? It's 360 so like sometimes all other comedians are telling jokes, I'm tempted to come up on the side of it and just make like a fucked up face up. And just wait and see, like if anybody, they have the control online of where they scroll, so if they look around while someone else is telling jokes and I'm on the side just... I think that would be really funny. So anyway, where was I? In the story? Oh, Chicago. I went into this shop and they had these whistles on the table and I was like, what's this? And the guy was like, oh, those are rape whistles. And I was like, get out of town. You got, what? And he, how much are they? He was like, they're $2 like a piece. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not really that into rape. Do you have like a blowjob whistle? he was like, yeah. Here. And I bought it, but I got outside and I blew it, and it didn't work. But I had a dog whistle on my keychain, and I blew it, and at the bar, like a block up the street, 4 random hoes just came running out going like, Then I tried the rape whistle again because I was like, if that works, then, I blew the rape whistle again, and 4 dudes showed up and raped me. I always wanted to, like, those prison movies where there's rape scenes? I always wanted to see someone getting raped and go, is it in yet? I almost thought about maybe putting that type of commitment into a joke, but not one where I get raped in the ass. I don't know where I was going with that. I started daydreaming, sorry. It's weird actually, a lot of people think I'm gay because I wear lipstick and eyeliner and stuff like that, but it's just because I'm goth. But then there's a lot of stereotypes we have to fight with that too. Like, everyone thinks that goth people just smoke crack and worship Satan. And it's not all of us, it's just me mostly. I'm just fucking around, I don't know shit about drugs. Like, fucking a friend of mine I saw the other day offered me a hot rail, and I took it with my mouth because I didn't know what the fuck. But then he gave me another one for free, so I guess, being stupid about drugs pays off. And that's the funny thing about street smarts too. You have book smarts and street smarts. Street smarts are mostly just good for smoking other people's weed for free. And I have a lot of street smarts. Apparently. But anyway, sometimes life gets weird. And I think the best way to get through it is just to flow with it, let it go, let it get fucking weird, Like, if a tranny says, let's go party and fucking go to a casino, and you've never been to a casino before, you got a chance to cross that off your bucket list, And these trannies were cool, so I went to the casino with them, and she was drunk, so she let me drive a brand new Eclipse. And I get out at the casino, this guy's sitting outside. I get out with these 3 gorgeous women who all have penises. And this guy says, damn, player, let me holler at one of your bitches. And I was like, go ahead, dude. And then we went to the park, and then we went to this river stop, and there were these middle-aged guys fishing. And I went and had one of them normal fisherman conversations like, oh, what kind of bait you using? You having any luck? Well, right on, dude, keep fishing, you know. And then I continued to go into the porta potty across the trail to go do fucking lines off of these 3 Chinese boobs. It was a blast. But, you know, I don't know, like a lot of people, oh yeah, where I was going with that. A lot of people, you know, might question my sexuality or whatever. At times, fuck, I do too. Fucking it's 2018, you know? Like, but I've tried it before, so I know I don't like it. Because one time, my friend let me crash on his couch because I was homeless at the time, and he was like tripping a vial of acid. And I wake up several hours later, or I don't know how long later, and someone's going down on me, and I felt beard hair tickled in me, and I was like, you don't know if you're gay yet, maybe just like sit back and try to see if you can enjoy it. And I did, and I was like, no, I'm sorry dude, I can't do this. And I ran to the bathroom,